The Mongol hordes had come, ravaging cities and slaughtering millions. Once glorious China lay in ashes, its people starved and lamenting. But in the central plains, within a modest peasant village, there came into this world a lowly boy. As he grew, the monks nearby saw something in him, and so took him as an initiate at their monastery. For years he studied texts and sweated in labor, finding escape in fables of valor and lost honor. One summer night, the boy, then a young man named Zhu, heard a great commotion outside. He emerged to see his brothers in faith slumped over as shadows moved through torchlight. The monastery was being ransacked by a rogue army. Zhu fought them off and fled into the darkness. Over green hills he ran until the cries faded, then pledged to restore what had been lost. Zhu would rally the common folk crushed under the Mongol boot and lead them to victory. The bandit King Zhu traveled across the empire, joining rebel bands and outlaw bands who shared his dream. His courage and leadership saw Zhu rise to command his own sizable rebel army. They launched raids against Mongol occupiers and collaborators. Farmers starved under Mongol indifference rejoiced when Zhu's men confiscated grain stores and returned food to the people. Zhu's clever ambushes and night raids frustrated Mongol forces. His name became legend. But great resistance drew great retaliation. A massive Mongol army marched to crush Zhu, surrounding his refuge. Rather than futilely resist, Zhu slipped away with his followers under cover of darkness. For long months, he evaded Mongol patrols, at times disguising himself as a monk. As the chase intensified, Zhu's pursuers closed in. His men implored Zhu to flee alone to safety, but Zhu refused to abandon them. Morale redoubled. They cut through the encirclement to freedom. In the following years, Zhu's guerrilla campaign liberated much of the countryside. Peasants flocked to his banners. United in resistance, Zhu brought rival rebel factions under his command. The largest threat remaining was Zhang Shichang, the self-styled king of Shu, whose domain neighbored Zhu's own rebel lands. Diplomacy failed to sway the defiant Zhang. Lacking strength to defeat his forces in open battle, Zhu laid an ingenious trap. His troops feigned a chaotic retreat from Zhang's advance. As the Shu troops prematurely celebrated, Zhu sprung his ambush from all sides. Thousands were captured, including King Zhang. The revolata was presented to Zhu in shackles, but Zhu embraced Zhang, made him a trusted advisor, and welcomed his experienced troops. United at last, none could stand against them. By 1368, Zhu commanded hundreds of thousands of rebels at the gates of Khanbalik, the Yuan Mongol capital. As defenders deserted their posts, Zhu and his officers entered the city unopposed. The Mongol prince fled north in defeat. After nearly a century of occupation, the Middle Kingdom belonged to the Chinese people once more. In Nanjing, the liberator was crowned Hongwu Emperor, the first of the glorious Ming dynasty. Zhu Yuanzhang, once a penniless orphan, now sat upon the dragon throne. Over his 30-year reign, Hongwu reformed taxes, rebuilt infrastructure, and restored Confucian institutions. He drove the remaining Mongols from China and expanded the empire's borders in all directions. But never did Zhu forget his days as a peasant rebel. He enforced laws to protect commoners and purge corruption. Land was redistributed to poor villagers. Food stores were established to prevent famine. When Zhu Yuanzhang passed in 1398, he was entombed in a majestic mausoleum. The peasant rebel left the world an emperor, celebrated through the ages as a founding father of the Chinese nation. His inspiring rise from obscurity to forge an empire from chaos remains etched in the annals of history.